Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE Smackdown on August the 16th, 2016, and there's a little bit of a mix and match here of them kind of filling in time and building towards SummerSlam, which I feel like they did a relatively good job without giving away stuff for SummerSlam like, I don't know, Monday Night did. First of all, I wanted to talk about the Miz TV segment with Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler. Basically, both of them jaw-jacking back and forth. They're doing a really good job of not trying, but getting people engaged and wanting to care about what's going to happen next. I love the spot at the end. It's like, first of all, like Ziggler and Ambrose just getting Miz to get out of the way so they can cut the promos on each other for that time being. To go along with it, Miz playing off as like the mediator and inside of there, but not really meaning much to the particular feud in general. So you had Miz, or not Miz, but you had Ziggler going off on Dean going off on Dolph, and the end is like, Ziggler's going like on and on. It's like, how far like Dean Ambrose is gonna have to dig to beat him, and then like as soon as he gets to that crescendo point of the line, he just super kicks him in the face. I actually like this. It's getting to the point that you're almost feeling like Dean Ambrose is the heel, but you can tell that maybe they're not necessarily heel or face. They just don't like each other, and it's a different feeling. You can tell that between the two of them. This segment was thoroughly enjoyable and a fun watch to go along with it. The one thing that I didn't really like about the whole aspect of it is that the interaction between Apollo Crews and The Miz. It happens completely during the commercial break. It doesn't happen on the actual show, so they only show a little snippet of The Miz running down Apollo Crews afterwards, and Apollo Crews coming out and powerbombing him. Like, there hasn't been much build towards that Intercontinental title match, which is something you wish they would have a little bit more. So a give and a take there for the aspects of that particular segment. You had a really good build towards the WWE title match, but like a nothing thing for the Intercontinental title match, which is very unfortunate very unfortunate on that side of things. You had a 12-man tag with American Alpha, the Usos, and the Hype Bros going up against the Ascension, Breezango, and the other heel team off the top of my head, the Von Villains. I don't know why I'm forgetting them. I actually like those guys, but they've been pushed so far down that you're almost beginning to think that they're not around anymore, which is very unfortunate. Again, another way of just building the American Alpha at this point in time, which is not a bad way of going. It's something they need to be doing, and you could definitely tell these guys are going to be stars for whatever they decide to bring in the tag team titles over on the SmackDown side. And each side kind of did get to show off what they wanted to do throughout the entire match. It was a quick, high-paced style match without like it being like, oh, someone do a spot now, just immediately get up and do the next one type feel. So it was relatively good in that sense, but again, another way of getting American Alpha over a little bit more. They had a promo for Kurt Hawkins. That's interesting. And the promo is basically kind of them taking this whole aspect of Chuck Norris facts, and now they're doing it for Kurt Hawkins. Could be interesting if they build anything off of it, or if he's just coming in as a way to potentially just, be another guy there. We'll see how everything goes on that side of things. Next thing I wanted to talk about were the two segments involving the women, which sets up for a six-woman tag at SummerSlam now. They started off with what was supposed to be Naomi versus Eva Marie. First of all, Naomi has a change to her music. Not completely new music, but a change nonetheless. And also a complete change to her entrance. It's like she has gone complete face in this one, and she has the full-on like neon glow night glow, like almost nightclub type feel to her. Interesting new entrance for Naomi, and I mean we'll see how that one actually takes off with the fans in any way. And she was supposed to go up against Eva Marie, who they have. So you have the announcer again going through everything, and he's going through all the spiel, and then it's like he says, and says Eva Marie's name, and it's like, is not able to compete because she's in traffic tonight. This gimmick, it's gold. It's gold. I'm not a fan of Eva Marie in the ring. I know that for a fact because I've watched pretty much every single one of her matches in NXT. They weren't that good, but they're playing this so right with this character. It's like they know she's not that good in the ring, so how are they going to garner the heel heat for when they actually do put her in the ring? It's like, hey, let's have her duck and dodge every single match until we actually, put her out there in some way, shape, or form. So it's perfect way of going. Then later on you had Becky Lynch and Carmella going up against Natalia and Alexa Bliss. Again, not a bad match for what it was worth, but they played off of the aspect of, again with Eva Marie, like trying to make her feel like she's just bigger than everyone else, so she just makes a random entrance during that portion of the match. Naomi comes out, they kind of chase off, and then Becky Lynch makes Natalia tap out to the disarmer. Not a bad segment there. It sets up for the 6-woman tag where you have Naomi, Carmella, and Becky Lynch going up against Eva Marie, Natalia, and Alexa Bliss. Going to be interesting to see how they have Eva Marie just dodge doing anything in this match, if they're going to continue on with that gimmick throughout through the SummerSlam match to go along with it. Also, you had a match with Eric Rowan going up against Dean Ambrose. It was made earlier in the night, in this playing off the whole aspect that the Wyatts have been in Ambrose's business as well as Ziggler's business as well, to go along with everything. The match itself was an alright match. It was not bad by any stretch of the imagination. You have Dean Ambrose going over with the dirty deeds. The aspect at the end of it was was when you had Bray Wyatt after Eric Rowan lost the match. He was just like, he had his back turned to Eric Rowan and just looking at his mask, and then at Eric Rowan's mask, and then just places it on the rocking chair and walks away, kind of giving it a feel like, oh, are they splitting up? What are they doing here? Or is this going to be a way for Bray Wyatt to try to motivate Eric Rowan or something down the road here? We'll see how everything goes. And this is actually going off after what they did beforehand, so I'm going to talk about the Heath Slater Randy Orton match, which started at the beginning of the show, where you have Daniel Bryan, Shane, and Randy Orton. They were going to sign a contract for do a real quick contract signing. Something that they just probably need to do anyway to make a match official for him and Brock Lesnar. Heath Slater interrupts with a basket of fruit, like a fruit basket, for them to try to butter up everyone. It's like, oh, I heard you guys were really going to give me a contract, and then everything in that sense. So they played off of that bit where it's like, hey, they're giving them chance after chance after chance. And then Randy Orton, right before they go to the beginning of the show, is like, hey, I have an idea, which eventually was later announced that they would have a match. The match itself was a nothing match in the terms of it was a beatdown, but here's aspects of it. The match ends in disqualification because Randy Orton's not listening. So, okay, technically Slater wins in that case, but it was more on the side of Randy Orton sending a message to Brock Lesnar in the sense of, oh, he did a couple German suplexes and mocked him by doing his little dance inside of the ring before fully laying him out with a DDT outside of the ring there. I'll get into the Slater spot a little bit more in a moment. They then, towards the end, you have Randy Orton still in the ring. They show him inside the ring, and then Bray Wyatt interrupts. It's like, oh, we're here. Doing the typical we're here moment. And they kind of even show a little bit later, it's like when Eric Rowan's getting ready for his match, a little stare down between Bray and Randy. So teasing that Bray and Randy are going to have some kind of feud here in the very near future. For the Heath Slater spot, he was in the trainer's room getting checked out. Shane and Brian show up. It's like, oh, we're going to give you a contract because you won the match and everything. But, Slater's completely dazed and confused, so he thinks Daniel Bryan's Mick Foley and Shane's Stephanie. He thinks he's at Raw and everything like that. So they take it away from him. Kind of makes them look like heels, or almost like heels in that sense. It's like, technically you're supposed to give him the contract regardless because he did win the match in there. So they're playing off of that a little bit more of this, Slater looks like he's going to get a contract, but then does something that cost him that particular contract. You also had Baron Corbin backstage continuing this whole bullying around Kalisto, big guy goes after the smaller guy, and so we're going to see where that feud ends out going. They're not doing too much with it again, or not too much with it right now. It's pretty much just like Baron Corbin having a couple backstage segments with Kalisto beating him up or something in that sense. So you can tell feud's fully going there in some way, shape, or form. So this brings me to, this does bring me to the last point of the night, which was the Alberto Del Rio John Cena match that they had advertised throughout the entire show. You had a segment backstage with AJ Styles and Del Rio where AJ was trying to do some kind of pep talk thing, but Del Rio was not having any of it or anything in that sense. And AJ was going to be on commentary throughout the entire match to go along with that. AJ's commentary is actually kind of fun to listen to. Him doing his typical shtick to get over in the terms as a heel, I thought was done really well. The match itself between Del Rio and Cena was a good match. These two have put on good matches in the past, so I'm not shocked here that they put on another good match to go along with everything here. Cena does go over, as you would probably expect in that sense. So for the aspect of the entire story of everything, AJ obviously doesn't like the fact that Del Rio didn't potentially soften up Cena, so he goes in to do the job himself, knocks him out with a phenomenal forearm, cuts a promo on him about SummerSlam and everything in that sense. Looks like he's about to walk away, but decides he wants to continue, gets hit by an AA, and then was put through a table afterwards. Interesting aspect of, you have Cena going over right before the pay-per-view. You don't getting one over on Styles right before the pay-per-view and leaving Styles lame almost makes you feel like, hey, maybe they're going to put Styles over in this feud. I mean, usually they don't, but you never know in this aspect of where they're going to be going with everything with SummerSlam. It does leave it as almost a feel of unpredictability between the two, between those two, because usually it's like, Cena didn't go over. Okay, he's just going to go over on the pay-per-view. So this one leaves it open to where Styles can go over now, because technically, if they go by traditional booking standards and just wrestling standards in general, the one who's left lying on the last show is usually the one that goes over on the pay-per-view itself. So we'll see where they go with everything with that, but overall, this edition of SmackDown was a pretty good one. I liked it. It was building towards SummerSlam, and it did a good job on the matches that they wanted to build towards SummerSlam without necessarily giving stuff away like they did on Raw to go along with everything. I like the Ziggler and Ambrose segment. I like the ending segment to go along with it. Oddly enough, I'm so shocked to even say this, the whole aspect that Eva Marie probably has one of the best gimmicks that they've got going right now is one of the funniest things to even say. She outside of the ring, she plays everything perfectly. It's just going to be a matter of when she gets into the ring, which, if you watch NXT, prepare to watch somebody move in the ring like they're moving through water, unless things have changed. She hasn't had a match on TV since after WrestleMania. They had a match with her and Asuka on NXT TV, so they haven't had anything with her in the ring, so maybe there's been some kind of improvement or something in that sense. So we'll see how everything goes there. But like I said, the build towards Ambrose and Ziggler, I love that entire aspect of what they did there for their final promo going into the pay-per-view. The stuff at the end with Cena and AJ Styles was really good to go along with it as well. I felt like they just did a really good job this week on SmackDown to build towards SummerSlam, and it came off as a relatively good show going into the pay-per-view. So that is my review for SmackDown this week. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.